Hey, sis.
Hey, sis.
Happy Father's Day to everyone out there. We have some VIP guests with us today. The dads of all dads, D1 and D2.
Yes, we are so excited to have our dad, Glenn, and his husband and our beloved stepdad, Drew, on the show today. So, welcome to Hey Sis, Eat This, Dads, and happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay. We're
Happy
glad
to be here.
Yeah.
I'm just going to jump in here because, we've had you on the show a couple times, Dad, and you've told a lot of stories. But we've only had Drew once for another Father's Day episode, and you just shared a teeny bit. But I really want to dig into it a little bit with you today, D2. And the first question I have for you was, how did you feel? Well, first of all, how old were you when you and Dad got together?
Oh, wow.
I know.
How old was
48 and 60.
Perfect. Okay. So I just wanted to know how you felt when you were told that you were going to be a dad for the first time at 48.
I was excited. Excited but nervous because I didn't know how you two would accept me, if you would like me or not. And Dad had told me that he had been seeing another guy, and that ended relatively quickly. And
Within
all
like
of a sudden,
hours, I
I'm
think.
on the scene. And, I just felt like I was thrown into this. And I met Whitney and a bunch of her friends, and they were all like, "Oh, where's so and so?" And
What, the
Yeah.
ex? They were asking where the ex was?
right,
Oh my God.
right, yeah, and everybody was whispering.
I was definitely not at that lunch, I don't think.
No, I
Uh-uh.
called you afterwards and I was like, so dad brought a guy to lunch and I don't think he's dating so and so anymore.
Well, Daddy's always not the most forthcoming with the information. So, that makes sense. That's on brand. I think you stepped in beautifully, Drew, and have always been such a wonderful father and friend and companion in person. And you're just such a wonderful guy. So we're so lucky
Well,
to
you
have
two
you.
make it so easy to love, and you were so welcoming, and I just adore and love you both so much.
Yeah.
You've added so much to my life.
Same.
I'm just so happy to be a dad.
You make our dad a better man. And I mean that in all the good ways, in the best ways. Not that you weren't always a great man, but you bring out really wonderful qualities.
I agree
in him.
with that.
Mm-hmm.
I've improved.
Yeah.
Well, I feel the same way about him, of course. And I guess that's why we get along so well.
Compliments.
Yeah.
That's right. And not only does he bring out the best of me, he also blocks the bad parts of me. He stops me a lot. Right?
Keeps
That's
you.
important.
Only I know those things.
Get upset about something trivial. He's like, "Really, Drew? Why?" I'm like, "You're so right."
Mhm.
He's like grandma in that sense, right?
Yeah.
She's like, "Really? You're upset that you're driving and going to arrive late? How is that going to change anything?" Right? It's like you're still going to get there at the same time.
She and I would talk about that, about how, how he could help you just ease in a little bit. That's all.
Yeah. Not be so type A.
Yeah. That's all.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of the perfect segue because we did want to celebrate your mother, Drew, our grandma. We just loved her to pieces. She was such a wonderful person to have in our lives. And we want to know, was she a good cook?
To me, she was a great cook. Now, my brothers and sisters may say otherwise, but truly, I thought she was a great cook. But, she had 5 children in basically 5.5, 6 years.
God.
And she had no help at home. My dad was not, he was very old school, let's just say, right? And I just felt like she, cooked amazing, flavorful meals all the time.
I want to add something here is that maybe her cooking was relatively simple. And, those were the 60s, 70s too. But her taste and her experiences were really sophisticated. We were talking about this just, the other day, is that somebody said something about using mascarpone, and she quickly said, "That's mascarpone." Now, most people think it's mascarpone, but there's an R there.
Yeah.
And I
Very
really respected
smartly.
that and loved that she knew the difference and would politely correct.
She was very well educated, well read.
Oh, yeah.
She
Yeah.
was a therapist.
I know she used to make make me frog legs back in the day.
Oh,
Really?
And yeah,
wow.
even she was grossed out like a lot of people are.
Did you
Probably that
request
are
the frog
listening to this.
legs?
I did. So we had a pond just down the street from us. And, it was the
No.
community gathering place, whether it was ice skating in the wintertime and playing hockey
Okay.
to fishing. And there was a famous restaurant in the Chicagoland area called Phil Schmidt's. They would, at the beginning of the meal, they would bring just coleslaw, cottage cheese, and beets on one plate, right, for everyone to share.
Yeah.
I know it sounds odd, and for them just to bring it as an appetizer for free starting, but then it was like you could have an order of frog legs, or you could have an all-you-can-eat frog legs. And I remember them taking me, and I had frog legs for the first time, and they were lathered in butter, but
Yeah.
I just loved them. Absolutely loved them. So when I went to the pond, I caught some frogs and I brought the frogs home, and I was like, "Mom, can you make them?"
Wow.
And she's like, "Well, I can help you make them," because she was all about teaching us how to cook as well and showing us what to do.
So you bring home some frogs and you ask your mom to make frog legs. Now, did you smash them over their heads with a frying pan? Did you just dunk them in
Dump
the
'em in
hot
boiling
oil
water.
live? Yeah. Like, how did that? Do you remember what the preparation was? And did she seem at all phased by?
"Oh, honey, what's this?" I was like, "Mom, you told me if I could, catch some, but she just didn't think I was serious about it. And just one day I showed
Wow.
up.
Did you cut those widow
I think
weggies
I
off?
just cut the heads off and then split the body in half. I just remember frying them in the pan and having butter, thinking we were at Phil Schmidt's. And
Yeah.
And to
Did they?
this day, he gets excited, when we go to the rare restaurant that has frogs on the menu. It's like, New Year's Eve.
Oh, really?
pretty much we
Wow.
have to
Yeah.
be in Europe in order
Yeah.
to see that on the
Yeah.
menu.
Right.
I want to start at the beginning and go back a little bit to how the two of you met.
When I moved to LA almost 20 years ago, I wanted a dog. I don't know. I'd never really had a dog that was just mine. Anyway, I rescued a Wheaten Terrier, and he was the cutest dog, blonde, fluffy, furry. It's just really, I couldn't go anywhere without people. Oh, he's so cute.
And
But
they
he
bite
was
your
vicious.
fucking hand off.
Exactly. I found that out quickly by the lawsuits that were threatening. But
Yeah.
he had a biting problem, this dog.
Mhm.
Anyway, I used to take him, Ranger, up to
Ranger
Mulholland.
Danger.
Ranger Danger, up to the Mulholland Dog Park. I like to say I had the worst dog at the dog park, but Drew, who I saw up there several times, had this beautiful, brushed, groomed, perfectly gorgeous, full-grown Newfoundland. And Drew's the dog whisperer. He can calm any dog down. He can get them to follow him, take commands from him. It's just crazy. I guess I made the first effort to ask him about it and hopefully get some help with my dog. And then he asked me to go to dinner at a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, that was my next question. Where was your first date?
It was kind of formal, like, you know what I mean? Like a real
Yeah.
date. I'll
Yeah.
meet you there. You sit down, you order, and had a nice long conversation. We just enjoyed each other and had a
Yeah.
lot in common, and a lot different too, I'm more ADD, chatty, and
Yeah.
he's the calm,
Calm.
peaceful.
Well, let me just step in for a
Sure.
moment
Okay.
because after I met Dad and we had conversed a few times, and I was like, this guy is quality. I had been single for a number of years, had no interest in being in a relationship. And it was just so easy. And your dad was, I could just tell what a kind, smart, loving soul, funny as could be.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never, ever asked a man out on a date in my life. Never.
Wow.
And I was like, how do I do this? I just, of course, I was so afraid of rejection. I just remember being so incredibly nervous and thinking, should I or shouldn't I? I don't know. And thank goodness,
Thank goodness.
I got the courage to I called you, or I must have called
Must
you.
have called me. But I was worried that night about the age difference already. I was like, oh God, do I have to tell him I'm 60? He's going to freak and it'll be the only date. And he's so nice. Maybe I could edge it down to late 50s or something.
Lie.
Give him a
first
range.
date.
Check the box.
Did he tell you he had daughters right out of college or just out of college? That's his go-to.
Yeah.
Let me explain that joke. Never being comfortable, like really disclosing my age, or I don't know. So people would always ask me, you have children? Yes. Well, how old are they? And so, as they got older and older, I didn't want to admit they were in their 30s, God forbid 40s or beyond. So I would just say, they're out of college. And that kind of worked because that's a huge span of years from,
It still
20.
works.
It still works. They're out of college, way out of college.
Yeah, but you look so young and so good.
I just had coffee with a girlfriend of mine this morning. And I told her I was recording with my dad. And she goes, Courtney, your dad is so handsome. Has he always been that handsome? Or is it just when he came out that he became that handsome? I said,
I literally just almost spit out my drink.
I know. And I said, no, he was always handsome, always well dressed. I mean, all my teachers used to have a crush on him. Even couple of my girlfriends in high school were always talking about how hot he was, which was really uncomfortable.
One of them wanted to take them to prom.
Oh yeah. When she couldn't find a prom date, threw around the idea of taking dad.
Oh,
And you both are
I was
so
going to
handsome.
say, look at this.
Well, that's why when
Look
he
at
said
this.
I'd never asked a guy out before, I was like, wait a minute, you're so good looking. Like you were insecure about asking guys out because you're so
Well,
handsome.
guys ask him out probably.
Right.
Yeah, I was about to
that's
say
it.
he didn't have to.
No, not at all.
That's
don't.
not true.
It's
just take it.
I was in a long-term relationship before I met Dad.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like how I met Dad. It was just so organic. I was in college. My sister was a freshman. I went over to her place to be sure she was settled in. And there's a group of friends there actually. And one of the guys and I just hit it off and we just became friends. I didn't even really know that I was gay at the time. And I don't think he really realized it either. And it just kind of morphed.
Yeah.
And, after that, I was just like, I want to be single. I don't want to ask anyone out. I kind of put out the vibes that don't approach me when I'd be at Starbucks and stuff like that. I mean, you kind of know, I have pretty good read and judgment of people and my peripheral vision is really good. So if I saw somebody looking at me, I would avoid
them. Look
the
other way.
So, yeah, but then Dad came around and it was
just the opposite. I had a T-shirt that said, ask me, I'm single. So
I
just came out and I'm ready to party.
Yeah, exactly.
Single and ready to mingle. Oh my God, I love it. That is so funny.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that and letting us know a little insight into
Yeah, I didn't know about the first date.
Love.
I knew about the dog part, but I didn't know about the first date.
Who paid?
Oh yeah, who paid?
Oh, I did.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Daddy, we always, kind of hold Mama Ashley as this culinary star, but you've
As do
really
I.
come, yes, you've really come into your own in the kitchen. And you've come a long way since when I was in high school and the few times Mama would go out of town and you'd be in charge of meals and you would cook often just grilled chicken, black beans, corn, tomato, salad.
Cilantro.
I still do love that, but
Mhm.
you've really expanded. So, how did you kind of become the resident chef and cook in your home?
Well, here's what I like to say. I'm the doctor of doctoring foods. And what I mean by that is, I don't ever just serve spaghetti sauce out of a bottle. I buy spaghetti sauce out of the bottle, but then I have to roast tomatoes and put those in there. And then I'm sure they didn't put enough garlic, so I'll roast garlic and put that in there. Or, I adjust stuff constantly. So I use a lot of jarred seasoning things,
Yeah.
ginger or a citrus sauce
Mm.
and add different proteins to it. But I'm always like, oh, I buy a frozen pizza, but oh, there's not enough cheese on this. More
Yeah.
cheese, more cheese. I do a lot of adding to things
Semi
to,
homemade.
Zhuzhing.
Yeah.
yeah,
Zhuzhing.
try to elevate stuff that's already, that I bought off the
Yeah.
shelf.
Well, I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit because I've been over to your home and you've smoked ribs and briskets and made coleslaw and things like that. So I know that it's not all just semi homemade and zhuzhed, that you get in there and you make a whole recipe.
I do care about it, and as time has gone on, I enjoy it more and more. I think of it as kind of a creative challenge, right? And then
Yeah.
it really helps if you have an audience that likes everything you do. And
Right.
so I
It
can't
does
get him
help.
to spit anything out that I've ever made, It's
Yeah.
nice to have someone say, God, this is really good.
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
live
It
for
is.
that positive feedback.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
I do try different things. Drew could eat fish every night of the week,
Hmm.
which is fantastic. But
Hmm.
I'm not really much
Yeah.
of a fish eater, as you guys know. I like
Yes.
shellfish and a little bit of branzino here and there, tuna. But so I try to push myself every week to have at least one, if not two, fish entrees during the week because I know he
Ah.
likes it so much. And actually, I've kind of grown to like it a little better too as I've prepared it.
One of the greatest qualities of your dad is how humble he is. But I agree with you. He doesn't give himself enough credit that he does always make, great sauces and marinades. And
Mhm.
oftentimes I'm like, hun, this is really restaurant
You
quality.
just say that.
I'm like, this could be on a menu somewhere. He is an amazing cook. And there's probably only been maybe 3 times in the 16 years we've been together that, and he cooks 4 to 5 times a week at least, that I haven't enjoyed what he makes.
That's
Ooh,
amazing.
what were
Do you
those
remember
dishes?
those
Yeah.
3?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I was trying to think.
I'll
Do you
get to
remember?
that, but he has this amazing ability to know exactly when to pull chicken, pork, fish off the grill, off
Mm,
the
It's
stove.
huge.
that's a
I
talent.
am just floored. It's not like he's using a thermometer or anything like
Oh,
that, but
Wow.
um, it is just always so juicy, just so perfectly done.
I
gosh.
just set a timer for 5 minutes on each side and boom, it's done. You know?
Well,
Not that
again,
hard.
he's not giving himself enough credit.
I remember the best meal I've ever made. I
Okay.
think. It's crazy. So we had our friend Lisa over for dinner,
Hmm.
and you guys know Lisa, and she's a fantastic cook. She entertains us at her house a lot, and everything's always amazing. So we were having her over, and I'm always a little intimidated when she comes because she's so good, and
Yeah.
I don't want to look like
Yeah.
such an amateur. But anyway, I don't know. You guys step in here because maybe I got this recipe from you guys because I often
Mhm.
do. When
Hmm.
I taste things at your house, I'm always like, "Hey, what is this? Send it to me."
Yeah.
And I try to duplicate what you've done, not always successfully. But Anyway, so Lisa was coming, and I wanted to do something really nice and exotic, or not exotic, but upscale, elevated.
Elegant.
So I got this recipe for a sea bass on a crisp potato nest.
It was
Where
wet.
did I
Whitney's
get that?
It's a
recipe.
raft.
It was wet.
Oh my God.
That's my panty dropper.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a good
wow.
one.
It was really good, and it looks beautiful on, sitting on this potato nest, they call it, and it was just delicious. And I remember it was springtime or summertime, and it was peach season, so we had beautiful big ripe peaches. And for dessert, I made grilled peaches with grandmother's mascarpone, and it
And caramel.
and it's a bourbon salted caramel sauce on it.
Ooh, can we get that recipe, Daddy? We should put that recipe up on our website. Daddy's grilled peaches.
I would like that. I love peaches in the summertime.
It's your peaches from the peach truck.
That's right. That's a
That's
great
right.
plug for the peach truck.
Oh my God, I want to make that sea bass tonight. I forgot about. I love that
Ooh,
recipe. I'm going to
so
make
It's on
that.
our website.
Yeah, it
Thank
is.
you, Whitney, for that recipe.
You're welcome.
Is there one of Mom's recipes that you make to this day that you've held on to? And well, I know that you have emailed or texted us and said, "Can you get this recipe from your mom, please? I'm really craving her X, Y, and Z."
Her
And so,
Thanksgiving Jell-O salad.
oh, the apricot Jell-O.
Mm-hmm. The one family recipe that you guys have already posted, and I think we talked about it the first or second time I was on the show about the fried okra and how important that
Granny's
is.
Crispy
Burned
AF.
AF okra.
Crispy AF okra.
Drew, have you come to love burnt fried
I
okra?
love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's really
I love
good.
just to nibble
Yeah.
on the burnt part.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So
it's
good.
so good. Can I tell the story about the one dish that Dad made that I had to return to the kitchen?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Oh my God. Oh no.
I believe that he made stir fry. He brings it out, beautiful presentation, and I take a bite, and it's probably the saltiest dish I've ever had in my life. I just couldn't stomach it, but I couldn't say anything at first. Right? I'm taking the third and fourth and fifth bite, sixth bite, and finally he says, "How are you enjoying it?" And I'm like, that is my opportunity.
Yeah.
I was like, hon, I'm sorry. I just cannot do it anymore. I'm like, is this salty to you? Do you not taste it? And he's like, oh, yeah, it is. But it was crazy salty. And what we came to discover afterwards is that I guess that the sauce that Dad made called for sugar, a little bit of sugar, and he
Forgot.
accidentally grabbed the salt.
Oh,
And the dish also called for salt
right.
as well.
Oh
So
my gosh.
it was just a double whammy. And I only put salt on corn on the cob. It's like the one and only time I will ever add salt.
Dad
Nothing
salts
else.
the meal before he tastes it. So
You do too. You
I
both
know.
are bad about
I know. Where do you think we got it?
It's the only time I've returned a dish to the kitchen without eating it.
Oh my
That's
God.
fair. That's a fair one.
That
That's
is
a pretty
fair.
good record. One time
Yeah.
in 16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
take that.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
I think we should start wrapping up this Father's Day episode. It's been so lovely talking to the both of you and hearing about all the delicious meals and fun memories. And we love you both so much and so grateful to have you as dads.
Thank you. We love you both too.
It's a blessing to have you in my life.
And if you have a minute, we'll move on to some rapid fire questions.
You bet.
Fire
Okay.
away.
Okay. Daddy, what is your comfort food of choice?
Guacamole.
Oh, okay.
It goes
Me
with
too.
everything. It's a good breakfast. It's a lunch. It's a dinner. It's a side dish. It's everything
Snack.
but a dessert.
It's delish.
Mm.
True. Me too.
Grilled cheese with onion on it.
Oh.
Love it. Love it.
Raw onion or grilled
Yeah,
onion?
that's what I was going to ask.
I would prefer grilled onion, but I grew up with my grandma making it with just raw onion. It's so delicious. I
Yum.
love
Inside?
it. Yep.
I love that. I just put that one up on the website. Drew's
So
grilled cheese
easy.
with onion.
I do. I like that too. Okay, Dad, what's the weirdest snack that you love?
Croutons,
Croutons, homemade or bagged?
both.
Yeah.
I love them either way. I got a huge bag, like a family size bag at Costco a while back, and they keep forever. So, and I find inventive ways to use them. Like I crush those croutons and use them as batter or
Yeah,
coating
breading.
for
Yeah.
breading,
Yeah.
because they're
Ooh,
already
very
spiced with garlic and all that.
It's a great tip.
Yeah.
Great tip. You heard it
Yep.
here. Drew, what's your weirdest snack of choice?
Well, two things come to mind. I love German pretzels, like a dark German pretzel.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah. And Australian licorice. Love
That is
red
weird.
Australian licorice.
All right. I like that.
You're not gonna admit to those canned fish things you eat.
That's what I
Canned
thought you were
oysters
going to
and
say.
sardines.
I mean, I do love my sardines and my oysters. You know, I love that.
D2, what is your favorite restaurant in Los Angeles?
Oh, wow.
Mm.
The atmosphere and the employees makes Craig's.
Yeah.
You know, that comes to mind.
Yeah.
The way they welcome us, the way that the employees treat us, the service is just outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a rather simple menu, but it's always lively.
Yeah.
And so it just makes for a wonderful evening.
Leisurely meal too. Take our
Right.
time there.
Right.
Yeah.
Because y'all are like celebrities there. That's
Right.
why.
Yeah.
I
You're
don't know
treated
about
like
that.
kings there. Yeah.
We
We've
are
been with
treated
you.
well there.
We walk, I mean, it's the hottest restaurant in LA where all the celebrities go. There's paparazzi combing outside the place. You walk in with Glenn and Drew and they like bow down at your feet, sit you at the best table and come over and tell you how beautiful and wonderful you are. I don't know what what the racket you guys have going on over there, but it's like nothing I've ever seen.
Yeah, the servers, like 10 of them, you know, each stop by. Glenn.
Servers come and sit down and, you know, practically have a drink at our table in the middle of their shift because they're so excited to see these two. I don't know what goes on, but it's really
We don't
fun.
know either.
I love going and feeling like I'm VIP and like Jennifer Aniston's next door and she can't get an iced tea, you know, in the booth next to us.
The answer to that is just treating everyone with respect and understanding how hard of work that they're doing, and
Amen.
you know,
Yes,
the other
absolutely.
types of people that they deal with, and so
Yeah.
they come
Yeah.
to appreciate when you appreciate them and you show it and you verbalize it.
Daddy, what's your favorite restaurant in Los Angeles?
Okay, this is going to sound really vanilla and oh God, is it a chain? But that South Beverly Grill, I mean, the quality of the food there is always great. It's not an extended menu, but I think it's a somewhat creative menu. And the service, I mean, is just great. So you always know you're going to have a great experience there. So I just
Couldn't
really
agree
enjoy
more.
going
They
there.
really have it down to a science there.
They
It's so
do.
good. Always.
Right.
They
Truly.
do.
Dad, what's your guilty pleasure takeout order?
The pepperoni pizza from
Oh yeah,
Oast. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
guilty only because it's got more pepperoni on it than like
Than
two
cheese.
orders.
Oh.
But it's delicious. It's thin crust, but it's also crispy like Roman style.
Okay.
And we just really, really like that.
All right.
Mm.
Drew, what's
Get
your
that to go.
guilty takeout?
ribs. Yeah.
You and Vivi.
I love ribs, and but I feel guilty because I feel as if it's unhealthy, and I want a full rack. I don't want a half rack. It's like,
To yourself.
And you just pair that, with great potatoes or something. It's just delicious.
Besides the two of us, who would be your dream dinner guests?
Mine would be my mom, to have her for one more meal.
Yeah.
I'm in on that.
Yeah.
And since
Gosh,
we honor moms on this show, we wrap it up by giving a little tribute to Momma Ginny, because I think what was so special about her is that, Whitney and I, we were grown when she met us, and she took us in and treated us like her blood grandchildren, and my children as her great grandchildren. And there was never a question of her not considering us family. And I thought that was so beautiful, how she brought us all together. And it was extraordinary. She was an extraordinary person.
Yeah.
I agree with all that. And she welcomed me as another son, just as well, when the very first time that I met her, and just such an amazing warmth and loving and caring person. And she's missed so greatly. So
Whitney's
we're
crying over there.
grateful for
I
those
know.
experiences.
I know. Whitney was so close with her.
We had a
Yeah.
really, really close, wonderful relationship. And I remember, we used to do these family reunions in Chicago, and get up in the morning and go to the kitchen. Okay, Whitney, what would you like for breakfast? I'm good, Grandma. No, 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 no. What do you want me to make you? Your little yogurt parfait? Would you like me to get you some oranges? You want me to cut up a banana? Do you want some peanut butter? Like, just, I'm like, I'm just gonna have some coffee first. And she's like, okay, but then let me know. Just so nurturing and kind and looking after others all the time.
The flip side of that, having hosted her, here at our place in LA, many times when she come out from Chicago, is I would try to serve her and get her breakfast and offer her options. And she was always like, no, no, honey, no, no, no. I'll take care of it. And then she just would go and graze a little. She'd have a little bit of this. And then 30 minutes later, she'd have a little bit of that. And she enjoyed each and every course. It was amazing. And then the other thing that I was so fond of is, I would always try to cook decent, nice meals when she was here for dinner. And she'd be like, oh no, she'd say, well, what are you fixing? I'm doing a shrimp scampi. Oh, no, 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 no. That's way too much. Just the shrimp. You don't have to do the scampi. Just everything was like, oh, that's way too much trouble. And then, she'd be like, wow, oh, do you eat like this every night? And we're like, well, kind of. But she was so grateful and appreciative of everything, and never wanted to be, a burden or too much trouble or thought of as special needs in any way.
Well, before we leave, let's just tell our listeners. So behind, if you're watching on YouTube, our dads are sitting in front of a beautiful painting. Our dad is an extraordinarily talented painter. He's been in several art shows recently. He was just accepted to Modernism Week in Palm Springs, which is a huge deal. His art you can find on glenashleyart.com, and I think that's on Instagram at glenashleyart. So please check it out and support him. It's really beautiful stuff. We're very impressed. But Whitney's showing all the art in her house right now. Well, we love you both so much.
We love you.
Love you. Thank you for having us.
I'm hungry now.
Me too.
Me too.
Let's go get some frog legs.
Yeah, let's go get some frog legs.
All right. Well, let's end it like we always do, sis. I love you. I love your show.
I love you. I love your show. Happy Father's Day, everybody.